I have shared the link also to my students, so they might also be joining shortly.
Yes, ma'am. You can share the link, ma'am. Do you have?
No, it's there in the mail, and I have shared the password and the code.
Okay. They can also join, ma'am. Either I can share the link to you. They can register shortly within a minute, and they can join their own also.
Yeah. Then you can just share the link to my WhatsApp.
Ma'am, you can stop sharing your screen. Yes. Now it's fine, ma'am. I would like to request Ms. Madhavi Rajput, ma'am, to start with the today's webinar program.
A very good afternoon to one and all present here. I am Madhavi Rajput, leading as a clinical instructor in the Academy of Nursing Sciences and Hospital and the host of this event. It gives me an auspicious occasion by heartily welcoming everybody. I heartily welcome to Mr. Amjad Jain, patron of chairman of Ansh Group of Colleges, Ansh Multi-Speciality Hospital and Ebenezer Group of Schools. I would like to extend my cordial, gracious welcome to Mr. Abhinav Jain, our Executive Director of Ansh Group of Colleges and Ebenezer Group of Schools. I want to welcome Dr. Malarvizi S. Ma'am, Professor HOD of MSN and Assistant Registrar, Pondicherry Institute of Medical Sciences, joined with us as Sorry, ma'am.
Your video is not on.
Okay.
Yes, now
Joined.
it's fine.
I want to welcome Dr. Malarvizi S. Ma'am, Professor HOD of Emerson and Assistant Registrar, Pondicherry Institute of Medical Sciences, joined us as resource person through internet medium. Welcome, ma'am. I would like to welcome Dr. Farooq Khan, sir, Principal of the Academy of Nursing Sciences and Hospital and the National President of the Nursing Teacher Association in India. I want to extend my cordial welcome to Dr. Manish Kumar, National Secretary of NTI, Vice Principal of Ratan Jyoti Nursing Institute of Nursing Sciences. And I would like to welcome Mrs. Poonam Thakur, ma'am, HOD of OBG Department and National Treasurer of NTI. I would like to welcome Mr. Abhishek Srivastav, HOD of Psychiatric Nursing Department. And I would like to welcome Mr. Amjad Khan, sir, HOD of Pediatric Nursing Department and the moderator of this event. I would like to all the MSc faculty and students who all are joined us for this event today. Now, I would like to invite all the dignitaries for Saraswati Pujan with prayer song. Thank you, all the dignitaries. Now, this event is going on. World Cancer Day 2022 to 24. Theme is Close the Care Gap. This World Cancer Day, we recognize the power of working together. We know that every single one of us has the ability to make a difference, large or small, and that together we can make real progress in reducing the globe impact of cancer. This 4 February, we call on you, whoever and whenever you are, to play your part in creating a cancer-free world. 2023 is uniting our voices and take action. As our campaign continues, we will join with like-minded people because we know that we are stronger when we are united. We will celebrate real-world progress in its many forms and allow that momentum to fuel our fight for fairness. We will do more than spread the word. We will shout it from the rooftops. We will build stronger alliances and innovative new collaborations. Our actions can take countless forms, motivating neighbors to provide transport to cancer treatment for a few residents or ensuring treatment for a fellow resident, that healthy and affordable food options are offered at the local schools. We will mobilize our friends, family, co-powers, and communities that together achieve almost everything. Now, I would like to welcome Dr. Farooq Khan sir and also request to him for say some few words regarding this event.
Ladies and gentlemen, for today's webinar, all are present here. The Academy of Nursing Science and Hospital, in collaboration with the Nursing Teacher Association, is organizing today's webinar based on World Cancer Awareness 2023. So I would like to say welcome, as Madhvi ma'am has already welcomed to all. So I would like to welcome our today's eminent speaker, Dr. Malar Vizi ma'am. Madam has given a very time to us that to elaborate this topic today for us. And if we discuss regarding the Cancer Day today, what we are organizing today's. So World Cancer Day is observed worldwide on February 4. So what is the aim? The aim is to inform and encourage people on its prevention, early detection, and treatment. This initiative was taken by the Union for International Cancer Control to campaigning and advocate for the target of the World Cancer Declaration. It was penned in 2008. According to the WHO, cancer is one of the leading causes of the death worldwide. The Union for International Cancer Control, UICC, was actually established in 1993, based in Geneva, and it is member-based society working towards the eradication of cancer around the world. And advancing medical research, and under the direction, the first International Cancer Day was celebrated in Geneva in the same year, 1993. And in that, several well-known organizations, cancer societies, and treatment centers also supported this initiative. World Cancer Day was made official at the World Summit Against Cancer in 2000. The event took place in Paris and was attended by the member of cancer organization and prominent government leaders from around the world. A document titled the Charter of Paris Against Cancer, featuring 10 articles, was signed, outlining a global commitment to improving the facility and quality of life of cancer patients. Advancement and increased investment in researching, preventing, and treating cancer was also highlighted. And that Article 10 of this charter officially declared World Cancer Day to be observed, to be celebrated on February 4th. So that was the day. From that day, we are celebrating this World Cancer Awareness Day. This has been observed. Cancer has numerous types. As we know, cancer is various types and numerous types. So there are various colors and symbols used to mark specific type of cancer and promote the fight against it. For example, orange ribbon is for creating awareness for cancer in children, while the pink ribbon is globally associated with breast cancer awareness. As a symbol of hope for patient and survivor, the dead flower is used by the American Cancer Society for a future where this life-threatening disease no longer exists. So this is all about the cancer and Cancer Awareness Day. But today our eminent speaker will elaborate all the preventive measures, how we can take place in our life to prevent the cancer, and how can we teach and we can encourage other people regarding the cancer prevention. So thank you so much. This is why was my message to all. And today the eminent speaker, what she will elaborate the topic, we will enhance that knowledge in a life and will circulate those. So thank you so much to all. Thank you so much.
Madhvi ma'am, unmute yourself. Madhvi ma'am.
Thank you so much, sir. Now, I would like to request Mr. Amjad sir, HOD of Pediatric and the moderator of this event, to continue this program.
Thank you, Madhvi ma'am. Am I audible, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Very good afternoon, one and all present here. I am Amjad Pathan, Associate Professor, the Academy of Nursing Sciences and Hospital, Gwalior. Today, we all are gathered here to celebrate World Cancer Awareness Day with the help of Dr. Malhar Viji S. ma'am. Firstly, I would like to welcome all the dignitaries, resource persons, organizing committee members, faculties from various colleges, as well as students and all the viewers. It is an honor and privilege for me to welcome Dr. Malhar Viji S. ma'am. She doesn't need any introduction because I think all you are know very well to ma'am. Just I would like to say a few words regarding ma'am. She has completed her BSc Nursing from Dr. MGR Medical University, Tamil Nadu in 1999. She has completed her MSc Nursing from same university in 2005. She has done her doctorate from Vinayaka Missions University, Tamil Nadu in 2013. She is also having MBA in Hospital Management from Algappa University, Tamil Nadu. Her professional experience journey started in 1999 as an assistant lecturer. She has various experiences in the institutions and clinical areas. She has more than 21-year experience in this profession. Now, recently, she is working as a professor, HOD of Medical Surgical Nursing, and assistant registrar in Pondicherry Institute of Medical Sciences, College of Nursing, Pondicherry. More than 30 research papers have been published by different prominent scientific journals, and she has written more than 7 books, MSN and Nursing Foundation. She has participated in various recognized national and international conferences, workshops, seminars, and webinars also. Without much delay, I request Dr. Malhar Viji S. ma'am kindly start the session. And I would like to inform to all the students and viewers, if you have any doubt or queries related to the topic, you can put your queries in chat box. Ma'am, please kindly start the session.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Audible.
Okay, fine. And once again, I'm welcoming you all to this session, and good afternoon to all. And on behalf of the Nursing Teachers Association of India and as well as the College of Nursing, Pondicherry Institute of Medical Sciences, I would like to give you a briefing about why are we celebrating this Cancer Day today, and on what aspect this awareness has to be created to the public. So every year, actually, like Dr. Farooq Khan sir said, every year the Union for International Cancer Control Society is celebrating February 4th as the Cancer Day. And every year they do fix a theme for celebrating. And this year the theme is focusing on close the care gap. So when we look at what this theme is focusing on, it is mainly focusing on three pillars. That is the health promotion, timely diagnosis, and the comprehensive treatment, including the supportive care. Next slide, please. So I'll give you an overview about a few aspects. Most of us must have seen or met patients with cancer. And we all know what is cancer and what are the most commonest cancers that we have in India, and what is the reason behind it, and how can we prevent this cancer. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Yeah. I would like to give you some of the celebrities' picture here who battled cancer and also have inspired us to stay strong. And here you can see a picture of the Yuvraj Singh sir, who is an Indian cricket player. And we know that in 2011, he was diagnosed as lung cancer in the left side, and he underwent a treatment in abroad, and it was a little rare cancer that he had. He went on treatment for 3 cycles of chemotherapy for 1 year almost. In 2012, again, he has come back to cricket, and he's again back to his own field. Next slide, please. And another famous celebrity where we all very familiar with is Manisha Koirala ma'am. In 2012, she was diagnosed with ovarian cancer, and she underwent a treatment in abroad country. And we know that in 2014, after treatment, she was cured. And really, she had a lot of trauma of uncertainty, like for 11 hours of surgery, which was extending to more than 18 sessions of chemotherapy for a period of 6 months. However, luckily, ma'am also was out of cancer and is after the treatment. Next slide, please. And here we have Sonali Bindre ma'am, who was diagnosed with metastatic cancer in 2018. And recently, last year, also in August 2022, in one of the Times Now article, which has highlighted about her health aspect following the treatment that she had in New York. Initially, it means she was diagnosed with breast cancer, and it was metastatic, and doctors said that it is 30%. Her survival rate was only 30% of chance, but still she had a treatment and underwent a lot of struggles with cancer. And we know that, yes, now she's doing good. That's what her husband was just keeping on telling when she was undergoing a treatment. So these are famous celebrities where these why we are having these pictures that which I would like to project here is because these are the celebrities who battled with cancer, and they are the people who inspire us in our day-to-day activities to stay strong. So next slide, please. And we know what is cancer. Okay, usually the cells divide uncontrollably and spreads to the surrounding tissues, and is usually caused by DNA, and we call it as a genetic changes. And some forms of the cancer are visible, so we can see is a tumor. But some kinds are not so, like leukemia. So those are all non-visible. But a normal phenomenal cell cycle, we know, like most of the body cells have specific functions and have a fixed lifespan. So it may sound like a bad thing, but still, cell death is a part of a natural phenomenon, but it is also beneficial. So a cell will receive an instruction to die so that the body will replace it with newer cell that functions better. But what happens in cancerous cell? The cancerous cells will lack the components that are instructed then to stop dividing and to die. Therefore, they build up in our body and start using the oxygen and the nutrients that would usually nourish the other cells. And these cancerous cells are the one which form the tumors and start impairing the immune system and cause the other changes that prevent the body from functioning regularly. And they start slowly spreading to the other areas, especially through the lymph nodes and so on. Next slide, please. And as Sir said, briefed about UICC, I will not touch more on this. Coming to the WHO, the WHO has said that like India has a huge cancer problem and is currently battling an epidemic more insidious and deadly than COVID-19. So according to the report which is being given by WHO, 1 in every 10 Indians are diagnosed with cancer and 1 in every 15 people die from it. So Indian Council of Medical Research also reveals that in India, likely they are witnessing a 7-fold increase in cancer cases by 2025. So there is a sharp increase in cancer diagnosis being caused by the increase in air pollution because of the rise of chain smokers or because of the sedentary lifestyles and so on. Yes, please, the next slide. Okay, coming to the incidence, when we look at it, we know that most of 20% of all deaths causes is because of cancer. And in India, every year around 14 lakhs new cases are diagnosed and 9 lakhs, almost 8.5 lakh cancer patients die in our country. And so 70 to 80% of the cancers are detected at very late stage. So right now we have around 2.7 million people with cancer in our country as per the statistics given in the year 2020. Next slide, please. Can we move on to the next slide? Yeah, here, of course, we do have the pie chart, which is representing the commonest cancer among the females and newly diagnosed cases. The previous slide, please. Yeah, the commonest newly diagnosed cases in 2020 was the breast cancer. About 13.5% was detected, and so on to the lip, oral cavity, cervical, colorectal cancers and other cancers like esophageal and so on. So when we look into the most commonest cancers among the men and female, like when we look into it, the top 5 priority goes in this sequence. Like in male, it is the oral cavity followed by the lung, stomach, colorectal and esophagus, whereas the female, the breast cancer is the top priority followed by the uterus, cervix, ovary, then comes the oral cavity and the colorectal cancers. However, there is these are all the preventable one. Very well, we can prevent it if we have an early detections and screening being done. But somehow it's neglected part. Next slide, please. And we know that the causes for the cancers, like there are quite few causes like genetics. Next slide, please. The genetics is the most commonest one because that is the genetics, the one which loads the gun. And we know that the other parameters of just surrounding us, the environment is the one which is triggering, which pulls the trigger. So the lifestyle modifications, what we practice, what's the food that we take place, we take up all these matters to etiological causes of cancer. Like we do, next slide please, smoking. Coming to smoking, the commonest cancer that occurs because of smoking is the lung cancer, as most of us know. And how the smoking can cause cancer is that it can block our body from fighting it. Like poisons in the cigarette smoke it can weaken the body's immune system, making it harder to kill the cancer cells. So when this happens, the cancer cells will keep growing without being stopped, and poisons in the tobacco smoke can damage or change the cell's DNA. The next slide, please. This one also, like gutka, the pan, all these. The people who are consuming this, especially from the north state, they consume this very frequently. But of course, in South region also, we do have these practices, but very less when compared to the North people because of easy accessibility. And what happens this gutka when they consume? The gutka contains nicotine and very many harmful cancer-causing chemicals. So using it can lead to a nicotine addiction and as well as causes the cancers of the lip, mouth, tongue, throat, and as well as the esophagus. Along with the gutka, the next slide, like tobacco, then next slide, like betel nuts, betel leaves. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Betel nuts. So all these are the, if people consume in huge quantity, then it may cause the cancer. So like gutka is almost similar like betel nuts and the tobaccos. The next slide, please. The other most commonest cause is the alcohol. We must be wondering as how alcohol is causing in cancer. It causes most commonest 7 types of cancer where the people are consuming the alcohol in a huge quantity. So when they drink alcohol, our body, what happens, it breaks it down into a chemical called acetaldehyde. So this acetaldehyde has a capacity to damage the DNA and prevents our body from repairing the damage. So that's how this alcohol has an influence to cause the cancer. So next slide, please. The other very important one is the physical activity. We also must be wondering how physical activity is having a link to the cancer. Yes, of course, there is a link between the physical activity and the cancer, as it has been proven by the study which is being conducted in America by the American Cancer Society and by the author of Alpha Petal. So they have done the study among almost 1.44 million people as a study participants they have included, and they have found out that the leisure time physical activity of a moderate to a vigorous intensity has impact. So the study suggested that exercise is linked with lower cancer risk regardless of the body size. So if a person is walking at least 115 minutes in a week, that's almost maybe 30 minutes per day, definitely there is a less risk for cancer. So there is a study proven and has stated that there is a link between the physical activity which can lower the cancer risk. Next slide, please. So next is about the fat. Yes, this so increase in fat also can cause the cancer, and most commonest is the breast and the colon cancer. So this fat tissue will produce excess amount of the estrogen, which is a high levels of which can be associated with increased risk for even the endometrial and other some forms of cancer like breast and colon too. So next slide, please. The other one we said already, the hereditary. So these are the most commonest one: colon, breast, ovary, retinoblastoma, adding on to other whatever the risk factors we have seen. The next slide, please. Yeah, coming to the symptoms. I will just brief you about the, next slide, please. The warning signs of cancers. Yeah, you can just press, yeah. We all know caution. Caution is the abbreviations which is indicating for the warning signs. So the cautions here, the C stands for change in the bowel or the bladder habits. Next, A, the sore that does not heal. U, which is unusual bleeding or the discharge, teeth thickening or the lump in the breast, indigestion or difficulty in swallowing, obvious change in the water or the mole, nagging cough or the hoarseness. This we are all very familiar with this caution signs and symptoms. So when we look into all these, we'll have to caution ourselves. Yes, so something, some changes is there in my body if I have an unusual bleeding, or if I have an unusual bowel and bladder habit. Of these things, when we look into any one of the symptoms in our body or family members, then really we'll have to be alert, because our body is indicating that something drastic can happen to your body, and be cautious enough and take an action toward it. Next slide, please. And diagnosis, we know, like we can go for a fine needle aspiration biopsy, then endoscopy, or we can confirm with the blood test, bone marrow aspirations, pap test, then sputum analysis in case of the bronchial lung, and also the other imaging studies of the scans, X-ray or the MRI. Next slide, please. How can we go for, next slide, please. How can we go for preventing the cancers? So when we look at the prevention aspect, we know what are the etiological factors, target the etiological factors. What are the etiological factors that we have listed right now? Those things has to be targeted. The next slide, please. Let's stop smoking. We know that there is a link between smoking and the cancer. So we advise the people to try to quit smoking. If not, at least they can control smoking. Next is of the tobacco. Say no to the tobacco, because as much as possible, tell them to avoid, next slide please, tell them to avoid consuming tobacco, stop tobacco, and as well as the alcohol. So these two also another most common factors which is leading to cancer. You stop it. So when we know the etiological factors, try to target the etiological factors, either advise the people to stop it, if not at least in control. Next slide, please. Yeah, other one is the, next slide, please, exercise. I said, right, physical activity. We must be just wondering how come physical activity is linked to cancer. Yes, of course, we have seen. So try to have, we need not be a marathon runner or an athlete, but still we can have a daily activity of 20 to 30 minutes every day. Just even during our lunch break time or a tea break time, calculate all those things put together, we can have a walking for 20 to 30 minutes, which will keep our body healthy and reduce the fat deposition. Thereby it can prevent or reduce the risk for cancer. Next slide, please. As I said, like obesity and body weight also is linked to it. And the fat. Next one is the, especially next slide, reduce the fat intake. Next slide, please. We are more fond of taking the junk foods, which contains more of fats and which are very harmful for our body. So try to reduce taking the junk foods, especially which is of high fat, like French fries or even carbonated beverages and so on. Next slide, please. Other thing is to wonder, next slide, please. Or sugar, next slide, please. Or even the other thing is that the FDA food adulteration department also, next slide, please. We must be very rare that we see in the food packets stating that this particular brand or this particular food is harmful for certain parts of our body, except for the tobacco. For the cigarette, we have seen smoking will cause cancer. Only for that we have seen that some indication is there in the product, but there is the alcohol, of course. But rest of the food products, we haven't seen that there is an indication stating that if this is being consumed in huge quantity, there might be the problem of these conditions. Maybe once that part is taken care of, then people will be more alert to consume. Why do we have to take packed foods? Okay, next slide. So what are we supposed to do? We have to start increasing the intake of fiber in our diet, because this will help to move the potential carcinogens through the intestine faster. So that is the best advantage if we take more fiber in our diet. Next slide, please. And we have to start eating more of vegetables and fruits, especially the raw fruits they are advising, because it contains the phytochemicals which will support the body's immune system and also have antioxidant properties. As we all know, the fruits and vegetables will alkalize our body. At the same time, it has an antioxidant properties so that it will start supporting the body's immune system also with the chemicals that it has, that is called phytochemicals. Next slide, please. Other major thing is that oil. We'll have to try to change our oil. We have to avoid using the oils, especially which are highly saturated fats. But then what oil can we use? We can use the olive oil, the canola oil, the sunflower oil, even walnut oil, the flaxseed oils, because these are all good even for the heart too. They have more of healthy monosaturated fats. So those kind of an oil, we can use it in a mixed quantity rather than just sticking on to only the saturated fatty oils. Next slide, please. The most commonest we have started, most of the people is this drinking a green tea. So the drinking a green tea or even a black tea, they also advise the black tea also, we say. It contains the antioxidant, which is rich in polyphenols. So they try to prevent the cancer cells from division. Therefore, that's why most of the people start advised to take a green tea or a black tea related to preventing a risk for cancer. So that is the reason for green tea consumption in relation to the cancer cells, because it stops the division of the cancer cells, because it has the rich polyphenols. So next slide, please. Coming to the water, this is the usual one which we say, like advise, like have plenty of water intake and focusing on especially 2 to 3 liters. Drink every day, and in summer it can be raised even to 3 to 4 liters. Next slide, please. Coming to the one of the preventive steps is the regular checkup. We'll have to go for a screening, and it's always better to go for a preventive step, regular health checkup, screening. Thereby we can prevent the cancer by its early detection and start the treatment. So regular health checkup, we say, like next slide, please. When are we supposed to do a regular health checkup? So it varies according to the age group. For a man, it varies separately, and for a female, it also varies separately. But from the age of 30 onwards, we are advising that we can go for a screen checkup, like colon cancer, breast cancer. These most commonest one at the age of 30. And in the age of 40, we can also, means like in age of 30 itself, the breast cancer also. The breast cancer, colon cancer, and age of 40, we'll have to go for colon cancer, breast cancer. If it's the male, the prostate. These important one we'll have to focus upon. And female at the age of 30 itself, we can start focusing on the cervical cancer too. So once in every 3 years, we'll have to do a pap smear test for ruling out the cervical cancer. And once in 5 years, HPV we can rule out. Though we are vaccinated, it's better to rule out for once in 5 years for females to rule out the cervical cancer. And for the breast cancer, mammogram, once in 2 years, it's advisable from the age of 40 onwards. And for lung cancer, we say we can do a CT scan every year from the age of 55 if the male are a smoker. If they are chronic smokers, then we can advise them. And for the colon cancer, colonoscopy every 10 years. For a male, like it is more in male, so we advise them every 10 years they can do a colonoscopy from the age of 50 years onwards. And for the prostate cancer, they can do even prostate screening test. They can do it from the age of 50 years onwards, where we can advise them to do a prostate specific antigen test. So it is a protein which is produced by the normal as well as the malignant cells of the prostate gland. So we can advise the maids to do this test, where the blood sample will be taken and sent to laboratory for the analysis. So these are the most commonest cancer. Like in women, the most commonest is the breast cancer and the cervical cancer. So we can advise the women from the age of 30 onwards, once in 3 years, to rule out for the cervical cancer, the pap smear, and HPV with 5 years once. And for the breast cancer, every 2 years once, the mammogram. And for the male, the most commonest is the lung, colon, and the prostate cancer. And according to the age of 50 years onwards, we can tell them to start doing the screening. Next slide, please. So we know that cancer is curable. Okay, it's not like in the earlier days that we were like where we were not knowing about the treatment or the diagnostic facilities that were not available. Now we have a modern technology where early detection, only thing is that early detection, screening is the best thing to rule out and diagnose and start the treatment quickly. And we have the treatment being available for the lung cancer as we not only that for all the cancers like radiation, chemo, and surgery. Next slide, please. Hello. Next slide. Yeah. So next slide. Yeah, this is the treatment. The next slide, please. As in coming to the conclusions of what we have seen so far, people with cancer will have the amidst feeling of hopelessness, helplessness, even powerlessness. But once being diagnosed with cancer, they also should think that it is not a death sentence. The goal for all of us is to ensure that fewer people develop cancer and more people are successfully treated, and there is a better quality of life for the people during treatment and beyond. So the best thing and remedy is that early detection and screening is the one for the cancer. Yeah, thank you. And I will, as to for all of you, the take-home message is that as a cancer can be treated at any stage, and it is a curable one and treatable one if we identify it at the right time. And this year theme is also touching on the aspect of closing the care gap. And how can we do that is by creating an awareness to the public about the cancer, encouraging them to have a lifestyle modification, and encouraging them to come for a health checkup if they are crossing the age of 30 for a female, and if they are crossing the age of 50 for the male. So that's about the concept which I want to give to all of you in a nutshell. I hope I have justified to the to Dr. Farooq Khan what sir has given me the obligation of.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It was a wonderful session, and actually it was very creative. I found it very creative, and I hope students must have gained, and they have enjoyed the all the presentation very well. Now I would like to request Mr. Amjad Khan sir to have the QA session.
Yes, ma'am. Hello. Am I audible,
Hello.
ma'am?
Yes, Amjad sir, you are audible.
Hello.
Amjad sir, you are audible.
Hello. Am I audible, ma'am?
Audible, sir.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am, for the wonderful presentation, ma'am. Thank you, Malarmi ji, ma'am. During the presentation, ma'am, students were participating with us, ma'am. Some queries are there, ma'am. Neha Kusba is asking, ma'am. Ma'am, can I ask you?
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Neha Kusba is asking, ma'am, my uncle is suffering from lung cancer, but he doesn't have any bad habits like that. You had told chewing, tobacco chewing, smoking, and all that. Can you all tell me what is the reason behind that, ma'am? Neha Kusba is told कि lung cancer है उनको. Hello.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yeah, I can answer the question. As we all know, most of the time the lung cancer, the commonest cause is the smoking. But it doesn't mean that the smoking is the only reason for lung cancer. We do also have some other factors, like maybe her uncle must have been exposed to some of the substances like an asbestos, or even the radon at home, like some of the radioactive gas substances at home, or even breathing a second-hand smoke. They may not be a first-hand smoker, but they must have been with the people who are smoking as a passive smokers. So there are, or they must have had a family history. Someone in their family could have had a lung cancer. So there are a lot of reasons. It's not only the smoking is the reason for lung cancer.
Okay. Ma'am, one more query is there, ma'am. Manish Kumar, BSc second year student, is asking what is the retinoblastoma, ma'am?
Pardon? What is?
Retinoblastoma, ma'am.
Retinoblastoma
Yes, yes.
is the cancer which is happening in the retina, in the back part of our eye. It's an eye cancer.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
It was very knowledgeable, ma'am. Thank you so much. Now I would like to call Miss Madhvi Rajput, ma'am.
Excuse me, sir. There is one
Yes.
more question in the QA box. That is, the hair color or dye can cause cancer?
It depends on the chemicals that it is there. See, dye itself, there are a lot of products which is being manufactured by the agents. So what kind of a chemical products that are we using is the matter. Whether it contains a carcinogenic agents, that we'll have to look into the product's description. That's what I was advising you. Like when we buy some products, we'll have to look into what is the chemical components that are there in the packed foods or any of the products that we buy in. So when we look into it, there are chemical substances that if it likely to cause, then we'll have to avoid using it. But we can't stop using it. We'll have to reduce using it, or we go for a natural products for the hair dyeing.
Hello. Poonam, ma'am.
Am I clear to you? Am I clear to you? Yeah, because there are some products. There are some products yes. Causing cancer, but we have to be cautious enough to choose what we want it, because it has the chemicals like for aromatic purpose or something. They will be adding some amino and some chemicals which are cancerous one. So those dyes and all, it's better not to use it. Better go for a natural dye products. Means natural hair dyes.
Okay, okay, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. Now I would like to welcome Ms. Madhvi Rajput, ma'am, for the vote of thanks. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, sir. Now, I want to thank you all the dignitaries who are joined us, and thank you so much, ma'am, for give us that broad of knowledge about the cancer. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah,
and
thank you.
Now I would like to thank you all the dignitaries who are joined us. I would like to thank Mr. Amit Jain, sir, our chairman of Ansh Group of Colleges, Ansh Multi-Speciality Hospital and Ebenezer Group of Schools. I would like to thank you for to Mr. Abhinav Jain, sir, our Executive Director of Ansh Group of College and Ebenezer Group of Schools. I would like to thank Dr. Malarvizi S. Ma'am, Professor of HOD of MSN and Assistant Registrar, Pondicherry Institute of Medical Sciences, joined with us. Now, I would like to thank you to Dr. Farooq Khan, sir, Principal of the Academy of Nursing Sciences and Hospital, and the National President of the Nursing Teacher Association, India. I want to thank you I want to thank you, Dr. Manish Kumar, sir, National Secretary of NTI, Vice Principal of Ratan Jyoti Nursing Institute of Nursing Sciences. Now, I would like to thank you, Mrs. Poonam Thakur ma'am, HOD of OBG Department and National Treasurer of NTI. I would like to thank you, Mr. Abhishek Srivastav sir, HOD of Psychiatric Nursing Department. And last, I would like to thank Mr. Amjad Khan sir. Thank you so much for all the teaching faculties and junior faculties as well as the students. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Madhvi ma'am. And thank you, Dr. Malarviji ma'am. Very excellent session you have delivered today. And all the participants has benefited with your experience. Really, it was very nice session today. As we know, cancer, some have asked one of the questions. I was also thinking that one. One as Neha Kuswa something has asked that uncle got suffered from lung cancer, but he has not consumed any tobacco and all. So it is depend on the you have given the correct answer for that, because the cancer may be affected by any environmental or any genetical or hereditary things also can affect for that. Maybe the reason for that. So I am really very thankful to you, ma'am. You have given a time for us to elaborate this topic today. Really, it was very excellent session. And for the participant, I can say this session has been recorded in a YouTube video. So anytime any person want to get the knowledge, or any person or any participant who has not joined today due to any reason, can view this session in YouTube video in our Nursing Teacher Association account. So thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you to all.
Yeah. Thank you, sir, for giving me this opportunity too.
Welcome, ma'am.
Shall we leave now?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Madhvi, ma'am, can we end for this session?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Yes.